So we said, not only will we build a platform that connects attorneys to each other to share these referrals, but we'll build two critical tools that make this work. One is allowing these attorneys to e-sign those folks on our platform. They use their normal engagement agreement, and that therefore we can add an addendum with the state-specific disclosures to ensure we can ethically share in fees. And then the fact that the attorneys for billable work actually bill the client on our simplified billing platform. That way, when those fees come to us, we can direct deposit everyone's share of the fees direct to their bank account. So whether you want to share fees on a $100 invoice or a $72,000 invoice with tons of expenses and different time entries, it's the same amount of effort for you. As long as you use these two tools, you can ensure that one, you're fee splitting ethically, and two, we take the administrative burden out of doing so on hourly flat fee matters.
Well, hello and welcome to another guest interview here on the Profit with Law podcast. I'm your host, Moshe Amsel, and today I've got Arya Firoozmand, and Arya is a very interesting individual. Why? Because not only is he an attorney, but he's also a founder of a software platform that I'm really excited about. I think it's really needed in the legal industry. I think it's about time somebody did it. I really like the way he's doing it. It's very interesting. So we're going to bring him on, have him talk about it. And not just as like a advertorial for his platform, but we're going to dive into the concept behind it. Like, what is the value to you as an attorney behind it, and how can you, even without his platform, lean into that strategy? So let's talk about Arya for a second, CEO and co-founder of Overture, an attorney-to-attorney referral platform for independent attorneys. And I'm excited about this because attorneys refer business to other attorneys all the time. Actually, what I just like, I batch record my recordings. I had a conversation maybe 3 conversations ago today, and in that conversation, I covered the fact that so many attorneys are not taking advantage of the opportunities for referrals. And here's what's happening. You invest in marketing, and your marketing casts a net that's probably or hopefully a little bit wider than what you serve. So if you're running Google PPC, your phone rings and boom, 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 it's a caller. Hey, I'm looking for an attorney to represent me in criminal court. Where are you located? Oh, that's outside our geographic area. We don't serve there. Click. You hang up the phone. Missed opportunity. What if you have a place to go to say, hey, I can put you in touch with the right attorney. Let's get you signed on, and we'll assign an attorney to you, right? The difference is massive when it comes to marketing, because marketing is expensive. And if we could take all of the invalid leads, get rid of the ones that are not actually looking for a lawyer, and just say all the ones that are qualified, just not qualified to me, wrong practice area, wrong geography, and we could find a way to monetize that, how much more powerful could our marketing be? So I'm going to jump into a conversation with Arya. We're going to talk about attorney to attorney referrals. And I'm really excited about this because I think it's not just an opportunity the way we're thinking of it, but I think it's a way to completely change the math on your marketing spend. Arya, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. What a great intro. You do a much better intro than I can do.
I'll send you my resume when we're done. Arya, do me a favor. Just give us a little bit of the backstory. You became an attorney. What do you do as an attorney? How'd you get into legal tech? And I don't know, maybe like what's involved in starting a platform like this?
Sure. Happy to do so. I, along with thousands of other new attorneys across the country, graduated law school, took the first job I could get. I had a lot of experience with big corporate clients, but found a niche in insurance bad faith and really learned the ins and outs of referral fees, fee splitting, how that works. That's something that you're just not exposed to in law school until you get out into the wild. I ended up leaving that to start a company with my current co-founders here at Overture, but Kurt Brown, a good friend of mine from law school, and Brian Liu, who started LegalZoom. We've been working together now for the last 8 years on different projects. Like I said, we started in the contingency space. We built a platform to connect folks with attorneys across the country for personal injury, insurance, employment, different types of things. And we were generating a referral fee doing that. We ended up going back to Brian's roots in the business world and building a company called Biz Counsel, which is a legal subscription company for small businesses, built that to service thousands of folks across the country. But then we saw in that business world that there were tons of matters, as you mentioned, where we couldn't serve, whether it was a geographic issue or a practice area issue. We didn't have that expertise on the platform of Biz Counsel, and we didn't know who to send it to. And it was really a struggle to find great folks across the country and even have any type of vehicle to monetize those connections. And so we built Overture, frankly, out of our own need. We saw, as we were solo small firm attorneys now in Los Angeles and Dallas, and we needed a tool to not only connect businesses to attorneys across the country, for wills and trust attorneys to connect to folks halfway across the state, for cross practice areas to refer to one another. And so in the last year and a half of building Overture, it's grown to 3,500 attorneys sharing referrals with one another and splitting fees. And so it's been a wild, wild ride, but it's really been born out of our own need and what we saw in the market.
Awesome. I love, I mean, the backstory is really incredible. Just the connections that you have and who you're who's working alongside you and perhaps backing the opportunity. I want to dive into probably the place that everybody thinks I'm not going to go, which is, the financial model. So,
Yep.
There's goodwill referrals, right? Like anybody can refer business to somebody else and, hope it comes back, boomerangs back in return. But what if I just want to get paid right now? Like I want to get something out of the effort. That's really where I'm thinking like this platform is going to be perfect for. I'm curious to know how that works. How does the attorney get paid? What type of referral split is there a standard amount, or is it basically negotiated by the attorney, on the spot? Like how does that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. We came from, like I said, the background of contingency fee lawyers, and when they share referrals, as any contingency fee lawyer knows, there's always a referral fee or fee split that's attached to it, right? It's just a part of sharing referrals because, as we all know, and any listener to this podcast knows, advertising is expensive. It takes time to build those channels, those marketing channels, those leads, and so they want to make sure that they monetize those if they can't serve them. And we took that same thought and brought it to just different practice areas. Like I said, any individual practice area, business practice area, and gave them a vehicle to do so. Now, when we were reaching out to folks and figuring out how to structure it, everyone said, yeah, we'd love a fee split on these referrals that successfully sign with somebody else, but we don't want to haggle over fees. That's not why we're here. We want to ensure that our client finds a great home, and that's our first and foremost goal. So we said, okay, we'll set the fees to be straight on the platform. So regardless of who you send it to, you're not haggling over percentages. You know what you're going to get in terms of your percentage. Then your focus is on finding a great home for that client. But the challenge was you have a bunch of attorneys who have never shared in fees, don't know the first thing of how to do so ethically, and don't want to spend the time to administratively figure out from this invoice, how do I cut the check? Who do I send it to? How do I subtract expenses? So we said, not only will we build a platform that connects attorneys to each other to share these referrals, but we'll build two critical tools that make this work. One is allowing these attorneys to e-sign those folks on our platform. They use their normal engagement agreement, and that therefore we can add an addendum with the state-specific disclosures to ensure we can ethically share in fees. And then the fact that the attorneys for billable work actually bill the client on our simplified billing platform. That way, when those fees come to us, we can direct deposit everyone's share of the fees direct to their bank account. So whether you want to share fees on a $100 invoice or a $72,000 invoice with tons of expenses and different time entries. It's the same amount of effort for you. As long as you use these two tools, you can ensure that one, you're fee splitting ethically, and two, we take the administrative burden out of doing so on hourly flat fee matters.
How do you deal with stuff that's not, I mean, especially in the PI space, for example, you're fronting client expenses, right? So you're not splitting those fees, right? Like you get the payout, that's the attorney fees, but then you also get reimbursed for all the client fees that you laid out. Does your invoicing platform allow you to differentiate those so that you're not giving away a portion of that?
Yeah, 100%. There's on the invoice, just like a normal invoice, you can have expenses, you can have time entries. Of course, those fee splits only occur from the time entries. That's what makes sense. Those expenses are reimbursed. So, to your exact point, we took a model that worked very well in the contingency fee world and just applied it to us who bill by the hour or on flat fees.
Now, for attorneys who are not in the contingency world, so they're
Yep.
doing flat fee, they're doing hourly, whatever it is, they're not used to giving away a portion of that revenue. Is there a recommended amount for that fee split that they should be considering to put out there? Is the marketplace, and there's a double, I'm piling two questions on one. Is the marketplace the kind of thing where like you're looking and seeing, oh, a lawyer down the street is offering for 25%, so I'm going to give 30% because I want them to bring the case to me instead of to them? Like, is it creating that kind of situation?
Yeah, that's the exact situation we personally wanted to avoid, because that's not what we built our practices to do. When you have this client who needs to find a great home, your focus is on selecting somebody that can solve their needs. The fee split is a nice addition, it's a nice bonus, but because of that, we set the fee splits. And so this goes back to how we set those numbers. And as any listener, again, to this podcast knows, you're going to take a certain percentage of your revenue and attribute it to marketing, advertising, business development. So we asked around and we said that number was about a third. So we said, okay, let's take that third and make that the fee split. So regardless of any billable flat fee matter that goes through the platform, 15% of the fees go to the referring attorney, 20% to us, Overture Law PC. Yes, we are a law firm. Yes, we're all attorneys, and that's what makes this work. We handle all the billing and all the movement of money, which is a very fun endeavor. And then 65% of the fees go to the handling attorney. Whether that's one invoice, whether it's month after month after month, as those fees come to us, we direct deposit everyone's share of the fees direct to their bank account. For contingency matters, those fee splits are slightly different. 30% of the fees go to the referring attorney, 5% to us, because we don't do the hard part, which is the billing on those matters. And then 65% of the fees, again, go to the handling attorney. So to your point earlier, I don't want you to be haggling over fees. That's not fun. That's not what that's not what business and attorneys who handle individual matters like wills and trust, family law, that's not what they want to do. They want to serve their clients and find their clients a great home. The fee split is a nice added bonus on top.
Yeah, no, I I'm on board with you. In other words, like I think that the bulk of the attorneys out there are legitimately looking to solve a problem for their clients. I think the 1/3 makes a lot of sense for the referring attorney, right? Like it's a no-brainer for me to take every possible referral I can get and go on Overture, find somebody to send this to, and serve the client in that way, send it to them. The place where I see a problem is in many of the practice areas, a lot of the ones I serve. I mean, as a business coach, my recommendation for marketing is 15% at the max, not a third. As a matter of fact, I would tell my clients, no, don't take Overture clients because there's not enough money for you to make the profit margin that you need if you're giving away 1/3 of the revenue, which it could also be, hey, just charge more for Overture clients just to make up for that, like to solve that problem. But I'm curious if you're noticing in the marketplace, I mean, it's so new that it's probably not an issue yet, but that you're having an abundance of people looking for referral to refer cases out, but perhaps a decreased inventory of takers of those cases that are coming out and into the marketplace.
It's a very interesting point, but the caveat to that is there's no cost to set up an account to be on the platform. There's only a cost if you take on a paying client. So all of the risk is entirely on us, and you can always be there and see is there that one ancillary revenue that at some point you've paid for all your fixed expenses and this becomes pure profit, right? That's the way that Overture is being used. Or let's say you quit your firm job, you're starting your practice now after 5 years of practicing at a bigger firm, and you need to get it off the ground. You're taking business as it comes. It's great for that resource as well. But what I've learned as a practitioner myself is even if you say, hey, I want more clients, right? It takes time. You have to set up landing pages, do testing, you have to get the marketing channel set. And even if you say, I want a new client on a Tuesday, it's not guaranteed you're going to get the phone to ring on a Tuesday. It may take a week. You may get 3 on Friday. You may not get some for a while. Overture is the only way that I really come across, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, where you can find paying work today from another attorney. That is very, very rare to be able to say, hey, I just want 2 new cases. I'm going to grab it today. That is not something that's commonly available. And again, given the fact that there's no cost to be here, all of the risk, there's no risk to you. You're only taking on work if it's something that's of interest to you that you can monetize and successfully make work with your practice. So we had to set a number somewhere to make it work. Our world was a third balances everyone's interests and makes it so that it's reasonable for all. But the growth that we've had over the last year and a half has been monumental. I suspect the next year and a half will be even more bonkers. But there's no roadmap for this. We're building this alongside all the other attorneys on here, trying to build the best possible tools. I tell people all the time, my firm is using the platform. We're users of the platform. Tell us how we can make this better, because we're really trying to make the best possible tool for all the solo small firms out there.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think the tool's incredible. And I'm not here to like piss on your stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's not the
No,
purpose.
not at all.
But I, with my business hat on, like I know that a healthy business should be making a 40% profit margin. If I'm giving away, 33% of it to marketing, and that's 73%. That means that I need to deliver this service at, 27% of revenue. And it's depending on the practice area. I mean, let's just take criminal, for example, right? Like, is it going to take my attorney more time than that 27% costs, and there's a lot of pluses. I mean, look, I don't have to chase after clients for billing. Like you're invoicing the clients, you're doing the collections. Like there's I think that I'm understanding you correctly, that like that's not like we'll generate the invoice and send it to you, but ultimately you're collecting that money from the client, which leads to another question. Like, how do you deal with clients that don't pay? How do you deal with what happens when there's collections issues? Who's that on to make that collection?
Yeah, it's a great question. And by the way, I love this because I tell everyone every single time I talk to somebody on the platform, this isn't a my way or the highway kind of thing. This is a group of attorneys that are really trying to build the best tool for us to be able to work together. So half the features you see on the platform, in all honesty, I didn't think of. They were from our early users saying, hey, is it possible that we can do this? So I welcome any and all thoughts because that's how we make the best overall tool, right? To the point of invoicing, I think in the year and a half that we've done this, only one invoice for work performed has not been paid. I found that, remember, this is an attorney to attorney platform. We tell folks, don't share referrals on the platform that you would be ashamed to send to an attorney at your own firm. So I think the quality of those referrals is much higher than you're going to see on a B2C type platform, or going through just regular leads where you have no tie to these people. These are friends and family. These are current former clients of these attorneys. It is a different level of vetting than you're seeing in the wild. So of course we're here to assist with those collections. The referring attorney obviously has a relationship with that client as well. They're here to assist, but it really isn't an issue because, like I said, these are clients, former clients, friends and family that these attorneys know. So when they make that connection and say, yeah, Arya is great, you should go to him and chat with him. At that point, it's a done deal, and then they're going to take it and run from there.
What's the time frame that somebody should expect? Hey, I've got a referral. I put it in the platform. How long is it going to take for me to potentially get an attorney to take that?
Great question. Depends on the practice area and state, but by and large, you'll be shocked when I say this. If you don't get a number of responses within the first 5-10 minutes, I think we may have a challenge. Meaning that if you're looking for a main real estate specialist in one small area of law that's really hard to find, it may take a little bit of time to find that person, or that person to be alerted by somebody else that, hey, this may be a referral that's perfect for you, and they create their account and respond. But the really great, business litigation cases, PI, wills and trust, family law cases, you may get 4 or 5 responses within 5 minutes. And I think that is unique. When I saw, this was maybe 9 months ago, someone shared a referral for a DUI attorney Friday morning. And this was in the early days where I really didn't know if we had coverage for this in Illinois. And he got 2-3 responses within 30 minutes, made the connection 2 hours later. And then by lunchtime on the Midwest, they had made a connection. The client called and said, hey, thank you so much. He's going to be at the hearing on Monday. That ability is unmatched. And that experience and experiences like that really taught me, like, hey, we got something really great here. That ability to connect folks across the country, serve their clients as if they're part of one firm, when obviously we aren't. We're all independent. We all do our own things, but we can turn to each other when we need them is really, really unique.
Yeah, I love it. I think this is incredible. I think it's a really unique opportunity to, on both ends of the spectrum. I mean, you painted some good examples of somebody who's brand new, looking for cases. But it's basically like anybody who has unfilled capacity, right? Like you're doing X amount in your marketing efforts, whatever it is, your phone's ringing so much, you're going to bring on so many clients. If you have bandwidth, put yourself out there, and if you have an opportunity to refer something out, then, put it out there and make that connection and serve somebody in the process. I really think that's, from the referring side, I think that's a massive untapped potential. Like it's long been something that I, that I'm vocal about. And it's something that I analyzed with some of our fractional CFO clients and demonstrated, how in $1 million marketing budget, with just the leads that were out of market, out of practice area, that they were leaving somewhere between 500,000 and plus above that in revenue, potential revenue on the table, whether it's referral fees or even just selling the leads, for the cost of the lead. Right. And it's massive. I mean, that's half the marketing budget. So if somebody can take that, and monetize it, it's incredible. And I love that the network is there. Like, you've created the platform, you have the attorneys on it. I'm curious to see how everything plays out on the financial side of it. Does that model that you've created work long term, or do people come, take a few cases, and then say, hey, this is just not working financially for me, I've stopped taking cases, and then you constantly need new blood, new attorneys coming in order to fill it. So that remains to be seen. We'll have to see how that plays out. PI is a different space. Like the marketing budget for a PI firm is significantly higher. That there, the third makes a lot more sense. It's a lot of these others where the time of the attorney is directly tied to the billables of the case, where your family law, your criminal defense, your, even estate planning and stuff like that. It's a lot more cost heavy to deliver the service to the client, than something like PI. So I'm just curious to see how that plays out. It's not.
That makes two of us.
It's not expressing an opinion one way or the other. I'm more intrigued and interested in watching how that plays out. Um,
Yeah, no, listen, sorry to cut you off.
that's okay.
I am as well, right? It's not something that we built because we thought it would be cool to build. We built it because we really needed it ourselves. And so
Mhm.
um, that that necessity, I think, bears some of the best types of companies. And so I too am excited to see where it goes. It's already gone in directions that I never even anticipated, and I'm sure if we chat in a year and a half from now, I'm sure it'll go in new directions. But at its core, that ability to connect our clients to people that can assist them rather than just saying, hey, I don't know anybody, I know is an inherent problem in our practice. We trade in the currency of referrals. A tool that makes that even easier is invaluable. How we slice and dice it from there is, of course, an open question.
One last question that's been coming. I keep getting the question in my mind, then I lose it, and now it's here, it's present. So I'm going to ask it. Um, if the referral fee is the same across the board, and you've got multiple attorneys in a practice area in a geographic area that are potential fits, how are you deciding, or are you just sending it to all of them and then letting the referring attorney choose? What's that process?
So when you share a referral as a referring attorney, it pings the attorneys in the states and practice areas who can assist. If they find it that's something that they can respond to, they'll reach out to you personally and make that connection. And so you can view all the attorneys' profiles. We have profiles for every attorney that's on the platform, review their background, their experience, their expertise, communicate with them back and forth. And then it's up to the referring attorney to select who they think or who multiple folks that they think is a good fit for that client. So our job is to give the referring attorney tools to showcase commonalities, um, indicators that these attorneys are going to be quality for their client, but ultimately it's up to the referring attorneys to select the right fit. We don't want to be in the middle of that process.
And are the attorneys signing something to prevent them from taking this offline and just not going through you once that connection is made?
Yeah, granted, we have our terms of use and all that fun stuff, but at the end of the day, we want people who want to be here, who want to serve their clients in this way. If your goal is to steal clients, not only is that unethical, the referring attorney is not going to be very happy with you as well. I haven't found that to be an issue. More so, some people say, I can't find anything that's perfect for me yet. That's the bigger problem that I see, rather than people taking clients off, because at the end of the day, we're all attorneys and we all want to do the right things, and we tend to be rule followers by nature. So I found that that hasn't been much of an issue.
Yeah, not a problem at all. I'm just, the whole thing is very intriguing to me, and I'm just trying to make sure I covered all the bases of what somebody listening to this might have wanted to ask or thought of asking. Um, to wrap this up, just to, one parting piece of advice, wisdom for my audience, and then how does somebody get started?
Sure, sure. What I've learned from talking to hundreds and hundreds of attorneys on this platform is, regardless of Overture, you should always paint yourself in the eyes of your clients as an attorney, as an advisor, not just a wills and trust attorney, a family law attorney. Because I think if you do so and tell your clients, hey, whatever you need, even if I don't do it, come to me. At least we can put together a plan of attack, or I can direct you into the right path from there. You'd be surprised how many people come back to you and come to you as an advisor, not only for you finding more work for yourself, finding more work that you can refer out, whether you monetize it through Overture or not. That is one thing I see a lot of solo small firm attorneys not doing, is painting themselves more broadly as an advisor to their clients generally. But to create an account on Overture, it takes a second. You go to overture.law, create an account, and once you're in the platform, you can start taking referrals today. You can start sharing referrals today. We have a lot of new features coming up in the next few months that are going to make it even easier to share referrals with one another for folks that aren't on the platform. But and if anyone wants to reach me directly, continue the conversation, chat with me, you can always email me, af@overture.law. Always happy to talk to any attorneys across the country. But that's it.
I love that, and it's very interesting what you shared as your final nugget, because it's almost in the exact opposite of what we've been trying to train everybody to do, right? Like, don't say yes to everything. Don't tout yourself to be like the be all and end all, because you can't possibly succeed that way. Get your marketing laser focused, get people to really understand that all you do is wills and trusts, or all you do is, criminal defense, or, eh, family law, whatever it is, right? And now it's like, wait, 1 second. Go out and tell everybody you do everything because you now have a place to send them, right? So
Exactly.
it's a very interesting shift. And I look, I'm gonna pepper my own 2 cents into this. And that is, I don't think that you should go away from having your marketing be very laser focused, right? Like ultimately, you're trying to capture exactly the right client for your firm. This should be ancillary to your marketing. This should not be a revamp of your marketing and saying, okay, now that I have a place to send them, I'm going to try to get everybody. However, your newsletter, your, regular emails to past clients, stuff like that, that's a place where you can say, you can introduce this concept of, hey, look at us as your legal partners. If you ever have a legal issue of any kind, we will do what it takes to facilitate a connection with the right attorney for you. So, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I think that's the right place for that. I think that we should not confuse the marketing effort you're putting in to bring your clients in, because what you'll end up creating a situation where you would have so much of this that you just don't know what to do with it. And the question will be, can you monetize it, and can you live off of whatever the scraps are left for the actual work that you're trying to get, when
100%.
you do that. So I
100%.
love that.
I 100% agree. I 100%. Not for your marketing sources. These are your great clients that you've built connections with over the last years. Please don't email everybody and tell them we now do everything. That is not going to be effective.
Yeah, but I like the idea. I think it's great. I think it's really, really valuable to paint yourself as that perfect partner for them. Um, but it has to be at the right place in the relationship.
Agreed.
And I leave it up to our listeners to navigate where that is. Arya, this has been really fun, really interesting. I love that you built this. Whenever somebody has a really good idea, I always kick myself like, why didn't you think of this? Um, I knew that there was a need for this in the marketplace. I didn't do anything about it. You did. So kudos to you for creating the platform. And honestly, it's going to become one of those things that I tell every one of my clients to sign up to, because why not? I mean, if you're trying to get more cases, you have an opportunity to get referred cases to you. If you're and again, I think that you need to understand your business model. You need to know your numbers to understand if it's working for you financially. But if you hire like one of the things I get my clients to do, I work with solos, getting them from solo to million plus in revenue. One of the first things we do is tell you hire an associate. In the early days of hiring an associate, before you got your marketing cranked up, if you could put work on your associate's plate, to Arya's point, it's going to be something better. Something's better than nothing, right? You're already paying that person to be there. You may as well get some revenue out of it. So there's definitely a time and place where saying yes to some of those referrals is going to make business sense for everybody who's listening. Figure out what that time is, say yes at the right time, but also recognize that you have a golden opportunity to make a connection, find a solution for a client, and then collect money from it without needing to do anything else during the engagement, right? Like that's the ultimate win, I think, is that this can be an added revenue stream to your business potentially if you have a flow of these clients coming in throughout the year. So I really love it. I love the model. I love the platform. I haven't gone on and checked it out, so I haven't tested it for you, but I love the idea, and I think that I'm going to be referring all of my clients onto it. So if you're listening to this, go sign up, create a profile. What's the worst that's going to happen? You get some emails with some referrals, and you decide to say no to them. That's the worst case scenario. All right, folks, this is my last recording for today. I am exhausted. I'm done. I'm ready to go spend some time with my family, but we'll be back next Thursday with an amazing guest interview for you. We're just going to keep cranking these out for you every single week, week in, week out. We do not take breaks. Profit with Law is the podcast. We want you to be tuned in here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get notified every time we release a new episode. And if you're enjoying the show, take the time to go leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast player. Those ratings and reviews really help people decide whether to come listen. And we would love it if we had more listeners. Same way you'd love it if you had more clients. So please go and rate the show, review the show, share it with a friend, subscribe to the show. We'll see you next Thursday. Take care.